I don't know we have the green, do we?
We good? Excellent. Welcome to the last day of Ignite. My name is Heidi Glottemans. I am the Director of Meetings for Microsoft Teams. I'm thrilled to be able to be here today with my esteemed colleague, Francois, to talk to you about meetings first with Microsoft Teams. Francois?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here after last night. I hear the buses were so late, people had to go to bed late. So I'm Francois. I'm part of the Teams product group, and I work in particular on Meetings First, and it will be my pleasure to show this to you today. So Meetings First, new term, and Heidi will talk a little bit about it in a short while. What I want to do today first is to tell you what we're trying to accomplish today. We're talking about an in-flight situation. We're talking about investments that are in the process of being made. I'll do a lot of demos so you see it's not just slideware. But this is something we're investing in, and we want you to be aware of it because this is going to be meaningful to you pretty soon. Two things that we're investing in specifically that are relevant to you. We want to make sure that if you're a Skype for Business on-prem user, you can use Teams meetings, and in particular with PSTN audio conferencing. And we want to make sure that as you do that, you have a great user experience. Those are the two key things that we would like for you to take away from the session today. Which means that the session is really aimed at IT professionals and users who have Skype for Business server or another version of our servers. This is really for you if you have an existing deployment of Skype for Business on-prem or one of the older servers. And also if you're not in a position or not planning to upgrade to Teams immediately. We'd love to think that all of you want to go to Teams, but sometimes, there's a lot of dependencies or operational process and steps and so on, and it's not possible to go there quickly. If that's you, then the session is in part for you. And of course, what we'd like to think as well is that you want to take advantage of the best-in-class meetings that Teams offers. And Heidi will talk more about that. So if you're not in that category, maybe there's a better session for you somewhere else. But if you're staying here, I'm assuming that you're an on-prem or hybrid customer. And the reason that this is needed and those investments are needed is that until now, you could not really dissociate using Teams meetings from upgrading to Teams as a Skype for Business server user. If you organize the Teams meeting as a Skype for Business server user, you would not have had PSTN dial-in conferencing. Your users could not dial into the meeting. Also, the user experience that would have resulted would have been a little bit disjointed because Skype for Business and Teams did not really know that each other existed and did not play well together. And last, there was no real framework and tools for the admins to manage that. So this is what we're going to be showing you over the next few minutes. With this.
All right. Thank you. So you may have heard us talk a little bit this week about Microsoft Teams, maybe just a little bit. So there's obviously a ton of investment and excitement around building on top of this new platform for all modalities, but meetings, of course, being super important. And when we think about what we're trying to accomplish with Microsoft Teams meetings and really why we're here, is that we believe that we're creating this next generation of experiences, really grounded by three core pillars. So the first being Meet Anywhere. This continued commitment to ensure that whether you're on Windows, Mac, mobile, in a room, on a group device, that you're having a best-in-class experience. That regardless of the type of meeting that you're having, spontaneous, recurring, formal, one-to-many, you've got a good experience. Regardless of what participants may be part of the meeting, whether they're internal, external, or broad. So this idea that we really are extending and opening our arms for Teams meetings to everyone. The next is intelligence. So you've heard from everybody, from Satya all the way down, this continued investments to ensure that we're enabling people to do more. Doing more isn't always a technology problem, but helping people with technology takes away some of the friction to get work done. So some of the investments that we've made in Teams are around this concept of a life cycle prior to the meeting, You can communicate and collaborate. During the meeting, you can get decisions done quicker. After the meeting, that there's a place for you to go and access things like meeting notes, action items, and so forth, so that you don't have to have the same meeting 5 different times to drive a single decision, and that ultimately saves us time. And then, of course, continuing to add those additional intelligent investments to save you time throughout the meeting lifecycle. And then last but certainly not least, and something we take very seriously, is meeting with confidence. So I always tell the story of when users join a meeting, it's the equivalent of going on stage. I want to ensure that every time I join that meeting, that I'm shown in the best light possible. And users, they want to feel confident in the meeting solution that they're utilizing. We do that by having things like intelligent diagnostics at the user level. So, hey, you're muted. Maybe you should unmute yourself. Just little things like that, down to the IT admin level, being able to do rich telemetry, analytics, et cetera. We've got a worldwide infrastructure, so we talked about in our intelligent meeting session with Ame earlier this week, and then just now earlier with the live events session. The global infrastructure, the local egress points for you to be able to get into the meeting infrastructure as quickly as possible, and then backhauling through our massive infrastructure of dark fiber. And then, of course, built on top of security and compliance, all that we're known and love with Teams. So again, enterprise-grade meeting experiences, helping your users get more done, more reliable, better quality, and essentially being able to take some of the worries off of your shoulders so that you can move forward and get work done. I'm assuming most people have seen these slides throughout the course of the week. One other thing that we like to call out is that, of course, from a meeting join perspective, we always want to make sure that people have a best-in-class experience, and through the ecosystem of not only clients but also devices, we can optimize for many different scenarios and form factors. But the least common denominator for meetings is always audio conferencing. So we built this global network of audio conferencing infrastructure. For Microsoft Teams, we're using some of what we created for Skype for Business, being able to offer up to 90 countries of dial-in, including features like toll-free, et cetera, being able to do things like call me back in a meeting, and of course, supporting multiple languages and dialects. This is, again, an additional value proposition associated with Teams meetings. So then it becomes the question, for those of you in the room who have been on this UC journey with us, and by the way, both Francois and I have been on this UC journey as well, back to 2007 R2, and Francois?
2003.
Yeah. So we've been there with you. And we want to make sure that you can take advantage of all these exciting investments, all this vision. But we also recognize that you can't necessarily move at the pace that allows you to take care of or take advantage of everything tomorrow. So we're pleased to announce Meetings First. Meetings First is a configuration that allows your on-premises homed users to take advantage of Teams meetings. It is a combination of a service configuration as well as orchestration at the client level. And we really think that your users will be enthusiastic about being able to have a modern meetings experience while still using Skype for Business for core calling and chat. So we're really excited about all the investments that we're making to ensure that we have a great end user experience, that from an IT perspective, you have all the controls that you need to feel confident in the solution. But nothing says believability like showing it. So I'm going to hand over to Francois to give you a glimpse into what our initial vision for this experience is going to look like.
Thank you, Heidi. Let's see if I can push 8. Very good. So this is the desktop of a user. And that's a user that's coming from Skype for Business On-Prem. So that's a Skype for Business On-Prem client here. I could prove it to you if needed. And that user also has Teams side by side. And sorry for the resolution, it's kind of making things a little bit cramped. But that user runs both clients. However, when that user runs both clients, there is no overlap of modalities between the two clients. Skype is going to be used for the purpose of IM and calling, enterprise voice as well, and presence. And we're going to use Teams for meetings and for Teams and channels as well. So if you look at it here, we actually don't have the chat tab and the calling tab. This enables a little bit simpler introduction of Teams into your organization. You could also potentially even turn the Teams and channels off if that's something that was important to you. So you could make it really something that's focused and centered on meetings. And essentially have some sort of, pure play type of approach. But we're doing this with intelligence between the two clients, with orchestration between the two clients. So what I'm going to show you is a few things. How to schedule a meeting. For example, here, you can see that I do have a plugin. It just happens to be a little bit darker blue as opposed to lighter blue. As the user, it's just changed that one plugin, but the action that I'm going to take to create a meeting is exactly the same one. I can go in here, click New Teams Meetings, going to invite folks. Oh, did I lose my microphone? No, I was probably crouching. Okay, I can put some content and whatever, and here we go. And we're going to try this in real time. And you can tell the meetings here. Actually, if I'm used to things such as looking at my meetings in Skype, well, the Teams meeting is here as well. So I can still join it here if that's what I was used to doing in Skype. Or if I go to Teams, refreshing, here's the test meeting. So I can join from here. I'm going to join with audio off. Well, actually, I'll join with audio, but I'm going to mute everything. Okay. Let's see if this wants to. I have a bunch of different clients that hopefully we can join from. This is a Teams phone in case you have not seen those before. And I just joined the meeting with one touch from it. Yeah?
Laszlo, you're in the lobby.
I need to admit Laszlo, because Laszlo dialed in. Well, actually, I don't know if Laszlo dialed in. Oh, Laszlo joined us himself. Okay, that's why. Oh, okay, that's why. And we have this phone here. We should have a few dial-in participants as well. Where are my dial-in participants? Well, if you want to dial in to show that it can be done, here's the meeting information that shows the dial-in coordinates. Okay, you're welcome to try. So that's one of the things you can do. Create a meeting super simply. There's some other things that we're going to show in 3 other demos a little bit later. But meanwhile, what I'm going to do is go back to the slide deck, since apparently we don't have dial-in people. One thing that we wanted to show you is the ease of dialing in, as well as the ease of joining from a mobile device with one click. Apparently, some of my demo people are not here. Okay.
Thank you, sir. We will pay you later.
Okay. So one of the things that is very critical if you have a meeting-centric view of Teams is that we provide the best meetings experience to our users. So we're investing into a very significant piece of work to make sure that the meetings experience is going to be a very, very rich one, both in meetings, but also pre- and post-meetings. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of that. This is work in progress, subject to change a little bit. But as I showed before, we do have a view of that left rail that doesn't include the chat and calling tabs. So very streamlined. And we really emphasize the full meeting lifecycle experience. Prior to your meeting, you can actually have a discussion about the goals. You can share the PowerPoint that's going to be presented or whatever. If it's a recurring meeting, your pre-meeting experience is also your previous post-meeting experience. And of course, after the meeting, you might have a recording there. I didn't show recording, probably should have. You might have a recording, you might have transcription, you might have notes from the meeting and so on. This version will deliver all of the value without any limitations of Teams meetings. And this is a conceptual view, or a little bit more than a conceptual view, but a preliminary view of the meetings experience we want to deliver, with a rich agenda view and with a content, meeting-centric view, the ability to find all of the things that pertain to a meeting at one glance, either from the agenda view or from the recent view. One of the things that we're paying attention to is the user experience as they go from Skype meetings to Teams meetings. So one of the things that we want to do is to accompany them across that. A few days before they'll be set to go to Teams meetings, you'll have the option to send them a notification in their Skype for Business client saying your meetings will go to Teams. If they want, there will be a button that says, hey, learn more, go read some documentation or see some demos or videos or whatever. At the time of the change, they will actually see another notification in Skype for Business client with a link to start Teams. And in Teams, what they'll see is their meetings available. Meetings that were in Skype will now be available in Teams, at least if you so decide. Their plugin in Outlook will have been replaced from the Skype plugin to the Teams plugin. So it's intended to be extremely smooth and well managed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is try and demo the meeting conversion experience. Need to switch users, excuse me.
So essentially what you're going to be showing is you've got an existing meeting or set of meeting series that currently sit with the user in their account associated to on-premises. And as the user is configured for meetings first, there's a step as an IT admin which enables you to transform those meetings from the join URL pointing to your on-premises environment and instead updating those meeting invites.
This is absolutely correct, with the caveat that what I'm going to show is a user-side tool. Yep. Our plan is to have two approaches to this. If the IT admin decides that they want to migrate the users, the meetings for the users, they'll be able to do that in the background. But there could be situations where, for whatever reason, it's actually not appropriate. And if that's the case, what we will do is we'll provide a tool to the user to do that conversion themselves. That tool, incidentally, it's not on topic for right now, but would also work for online meetings. Now, this is a meeting series. It's a recurring meeting. And I'm going to open the entire series. By the way, in the slide deck, if you consult it, you'll find all of those demos slide by slide. This specific user in a slightly different configuration for the purpose of the demo. So that user has the two plugins, just because it's a little bit easier to demo. When I'm doing it, but it would be the same, of course, if you only had one plugin, you were in that configuration I showed before. So this is a Skype meeting, and what I'm doing is I'm clicking on the Teams meeting plugin. And it says, are you sure you want to convert? I'm sure, absolutely. Bingo, that was quick. Converted the recurring meeting into a Teams meeting. Now I send it. And if I go here, you can tell that it should be super quick. This meeting had been converted. And for some reason, it doesn't show it yet here. Maybe some slowness in exchange. But if I join it, I will join it as a Teams meeting. Not going to belabor the point too much, but clearly that Skype recurring series of meetings was converted to a Teams meeting. Okay, going back to 5. That's cool, no? Good. Okay, some of the other things that are important is to make sure that the clients on the desktop play well together. There's many solutions for meetings out there, some of them pretty good, that you could decide to use instead of Skype for Business meetings on-prem while you keep Skype for calling. And we're very aware of that. We think Teams meetings are at least as good, but in addition, what we're going to provide you is something that's very unique, which is that ability of Skype and Teams to be aware of each other and coordinate what they do, which is unique. Yeah? So a few things that you'll be able to do. One is if you're in a Teams meeting and a call comes in Skype. You know, I'm in a Teams meeting and you call me. Yep. Don't pay attention to presence or whatever, yeah?
I would never do that.
Oh, no. Well, as I pick up, my Teams meeting will go on hold because that would be particularly annoying or, you know, maybe even shameful if I started talking to you and everybody heard on the meeting. If you have one headset and two clients, how do the two clients know which, or how does the headset know which of the clients you're talking to? And so we're doing an investment right now that will enable the USB device to be managed and controlled simultaneously by the two clients. If you're in a meeting, you want to mute, it will mute the meeting. If a call comes in and you press hook, it will pick up the call and it will place the meeting on hold. Pretty nice little things, yeah? Presence, you're presenting full screen in a meeting that happens to be a Teams meeting. Can you receive a call? Well, you'd set up in the past, do not disturb if you're full screen in Skype. We intend to make sure that that is observed even though you're presenting in Teams. So those are things that are very differentiating that you will not find in, you know, solutions that are not coordinated, that don't have that better together approach. And I'm going to try and do a demo of this as well. And where do I do that? So I need to change users on the fly here. Sorry, it takes a little bit of time to, oh, and we have people in the meeting here.
Do you want me to log in?
Sadly, there is no alternative here. I apologize for the little time it takes, but
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
this is your opportunity.
Excellent.
Okay, so what you see here is I have meeting going on, and I'm starting another client, so I'm going to be able to call into this, this user and put the meeting on hold. Next time, I'll make sure my twin is here too. So what's going to happen is, as the call is going to come in, if I pick it up, it will put my Teams meeting on hold. And then if I unhold the meeting, it will put my call on hold. Oh, thank you, Microsoft. That didn't go so well.
Oh, that's okay.
It's coming.
Machines lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this is that we have a lot of our customers that we talk to that are, I'm sure you participate in some of the transition conversations that Francois and BJ have facilitated, but a lot of our customers really are interested in leading with
Here's the call, by the way.
meetings.
So
Okay,
I'm
there we
picking
go.
up the call, meeting went on hold. If I unhold the meeting, the call went on hold. So you have this, you know, better together thing. A little bit complicated to demo, at least it worked. Thank you. Okay, sorry, you were saying.
No. It was, I think that when we think through, you know, we started having these conversations with our customers over the last year and a half of, you know, hey, here's our vision for where we want to go for communications. And the inevitable question became, what do I do first? So hence why we've decided to call this configuration meetings first, is because people were actually asking us, hey, Microsoft, what do you think we should do to go make this real for our customers? And it's feedback from people like you that really drove us in this direction.
Thank you. So what you've seen is that better together, meeting hold on incoming call. And you'll have similar type of activity, better together stories around using my headset, presence, and so on. So what does this mean for the admin? First, what are the prerequisites for this? Well, great news, they are not particularly complex. Of course, we have the same prerequisites that Teams has, so you need to have AAD sync. The appropriate parameters from your Skype on-prem topology need to be replicated. That's the case regardless of whether you want to do this or anything in Teams. Skype for Business hybrid topology is not required as a start. It's strongly recommended. There's a lot of reasons it's a good idea, but it's not required to get started. It will be required for specific elements, in particular, if you want to do meetings migration from the service point of view, if you have interrupt situations, or some policies will require that to be applied granularly, but at the base, you can get started without it. Otherwise, it's exactly the same requirements, whether it's Exchange, SharePoint, those kind of things, as Teams standalone. From a server point of view, good news is you don't have to upgrade your server for this. The Better Together story that I showed you will require new clients, relatively recent clients. But from a server point of view, you will not have to upgrade your servers. In terms of what you need from the point of view of licensing and provisioning of the user, your user remain on Skype on-prem with whatever licensing you have there. And you're going to need a Teams license and the audio conferencing license for that user in the cloud. You can have more if you want, but that's the base, yeah? You'll provision your users using PowerShell or the modern portal, the Teams admin portal, and I'm going to demo that in a second. And then once that's done, you have the ability to manage your users as is demonstrated in many of the other sessions, and I'll show a few of those things as well, in particular from the point of view of call quality management. Call quality management for Teams meetings is second to none, and you're going to see some of that. There's actually a session at 12:30, I think it's 3169, that talks specifically about that. Okay, so let's see if I can do one more of those high-flying acts. Different machine. Okay, so this is obviously your Office 365, M365 admin portal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a user, and I'm going to provision that user. Let's start with getting a quick look at what that user's current situation is. So this is the Teams admin portal. Let's switch quickly to the Teams admin portal. Network kind of slow. Okay, so this user doesn't have much in terms of assigned things. There is no conferencing capabilities. There's no policies, not much, yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go assign a conferencing license to that user. Happens to have E5 here. E5 is not required. E3
With
is
the
fine.
conferencing add-in.
And the conferencing add-in that's here. Okay, so I've added that conferencing add-in. Now, it takes a little bit of time for this to propagate through a system, so I might have to cheat and go look at another user. I'm going to see how quickly it happens, but with the slow network, it may or may not be an option. So I've assigned that audio conferencing license. And I'm also going to change a few policies here. So there's a little bit of magic behind the mirror here, behind the curtain. The mode, the upgrade mode that is describing the configuration that you saw, it's called SFB with Teams Collab and Meetings, and it's actually pre-assigned in PowerShell because I don't yet have it in the graphical user interface. So I'm not going to assign it for you right now, but you can see that it's there. And that mode, that upgrade mode, is really what is going to govern the behavior together with another policy which we call the app permissions policy, which I'm also not going to set right now. I'm going to pretend that I'm sending it by instead setting the messaging policy to chat off. In practice, you can mock up this situation today with other policies, and during Q4, we're going to introduce the Teams app permissions policy that will enable to have the full user experience with one switch instead of multiple switches.
What's really exciting about this is that this isn't just us dreaming this up. We've got a lot of customers doing this already.
Pretty cool, yeah?
So, and we'll talk about that more in a moment.
Okay, the policy was assigned. I'm going to switch the user just for simplicity. This is a user that was configured in advance. And you see I have the audio conferencing capability, information here. And the Teams upgrade policy is also the same. And the policies, the assigned policies will also be the right ones. So this user I'm going to show you right now has the full experience there. The other thing that we can look at is call quality and call history. As the admin, you have the ability to understand if your users have a good experience or not. That's going to be shown here. So this is all the calls that the specific user participated in. For example, there's this conference call here with 5 participants that lasted 20 minutes. And if I want to dive a little bit into what that did, I have the view of all the endpoints that joined. The call quality is pretty good, and so on. Any questions on this?
No.
Nope. So essentially, as the admin, you have the ability to provision your users, to manage them from the point of view of their policies, to see their usage, and to see the quality of that usage, either at the user level or at the systemic level. So now what we're going to do is switch gears a little bit and tell you where we are in this process. We are at the point of running a technology adoption program, which means that we have a select group of customers that work with us that are starting to experience this, and progressively we're adding capabilities and user experience elements. So we've been running this for about 2 months. It's going to continue running for a period of time because that's a relatively rich and complex program. You see some of the names we have here. Kiran, who's here, is running the TAP program. And it's my pleasure to acknowledge some of the great customers we have in the TAP. We have more than those, but those are the ones who were kind enough to let us share their logo. And it's also my pleasure to welcome Bill to the stage. Yeah. Bill is one of our TAP customers, has been with us on the program for about 2.5 months, something like this.
It's been about 2.5 months.
Pleasure to see you, Bill. Thank you. Do you want to join us?
Oh, okay. I'll join the party.
So, Bill, you've been running this for a period of time. Can you tell us a little bit about, first, where you're coming from a Skype point of view?
Okay, so from a Skype point of view, we're still on-prem. We started about 7 months ago. As far as getting our licensing and everything. And once we got our licensing set, we wanted to start migrating everybody up into the cloud as much, as pretty much as quick as possible. One of the things that we were lacking on the Teams is that people wanted that voice capability to be able to call into the meetings, and it was very disappointing because as soon as we started migrating, we pushed everybody with everything all at one time because we wanted the adoption rate to pick up very fast. We didn't want to wait until the last minute to start saying, all right, here's this function, you've got 30 days to carry it.
Yeah.
So you're on Skype server, which version?
Right now, we're still on Link 2013.
In 2013, which shows that this can be done with older versions of servers. And so you have quite a few Teams active users right now, don't you?
Correct. We've got pretty close to 31,000 that's on our system.
Great. And so on the TAP program itself, after 2 months or so, how many users do you have? I think last time we checked in, it was about 1,000.
No, actually, as of last night, we probably pushed over 2,000 because
Wow.
we had some migrations also last
Okay.
night.
So relatively decent TAP that has, customers at 2,000 users. I think that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
how is the user experience at this point?
It's actually been pretty decent. I mean, I haven't had any really complaints, other than maybe a few customers that actually had problems in the areas that they were trying to call in. You know, a lot of kiosks, but to the most part, the actual functionality has been great. From the enterprise standpoint, through our network, it's been great. We haven't had any issues.
That's fantastic. Any other comment or question?
Yeah, I mean, what's the feedback been on this new meetings experience? Obviously, it's different. So how do users adopt to this new way of working?
Well, as one person sets up a meeting, right, it kind of grows to the next one, and then eventually you start getting 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So in our adoption program, what we did is we basically said, if you want to sign up for it, you can sign up for it, and we'll go ahead and enable you as it comes in. That's how come our numbers have been growing pretty fast, because it's like a new toy. Somebody gets a hold of it, and they're like, oh, this is great, let me try it. And then they get like 8 people on a meeting, and the next thing you know, it just grows and grows and grows.
That's
Fantastic.
super.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to, sorry, I have one more slide, but please stay with us, Bill. Just very quickly. So you heard, you know, we're on tap. We're very interested in having more customers join us in the tap. The call to action is pretty clear. Click that link and apply if you're interested. We really think this is a great way for your users to get to do more things in Teams. To be frank, you know, some customers are challenged with by their users saying, we want better meetings. If that's the case, that's a great approach. No need to look elsewhere. And with this, I want to thank you very much for the time, and we'll take questions. Please come to the microphone.
Come on down. Oh, you got there first, sir.
Mic is not open? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. I have 2 short questions. One is, so it's really if you're having one headset or one USB device, the access to the USB device is switched through the application, even if Skype client and Teams client is started at the same time.
That is correct, yes. In this mode, specifically in this mode, we're going to make sure that we have orchestration between the 2 clients so that there is only one headset, one USB device, and it knows which of the clients it should be listening to.
Okay. Second short question is there an option also to use, if you're going to add your own zip chunk by direct routing to the Teams environment, to bring your own numbers? Because we are very big customers, and putting 100,000 guys on a conferencing license is not so cheap. And if they already have their connectivity by using their own, bring your own zip trunk connections, is any plans in that area?
This is not something that's available at this time. Your feedback is interesting and important to us. Can you tell me which company you're with?
Yeah, we are a provider of those services, and so my company is Daytech, but we provide a lot of services for very large companies, and so it's a request from the customers all the time.
I would appreciate the opportunity to chat with you about this at some later point, if you don't mind, or maybe after the session.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The functionality allowing for
Yeah, I know it's low.
the functionality allowing for the interop with the USB HID devices, is that in the product now, or is it coming?
It's not. It's coming.
Is there a date?
No, we're not communicating dates at part of this session, but you know, clearly, if we're showing something here, it's because we're actively working on it, and that's something that if you join the TAP, we'll be able to tell you more about from a precise time frame point of view.
If Teams becomes available in GCC High, the DoD, and other sovereign clouds, will this functionality be available at that time as well in those clouds?
It should.
I see no reason why not. I don't know that we have formalized a plan, but it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're currently deployed on-prem with VVX devices and better together over Ethernet, will this help that experience?
I've not. Let's chat afterwards here because
Better together with the client at
yeah.
SHIM for Skype for Business. We'll have to talk later about
yeah,
that.
I'm not sure that's in scope for now,
Yeah.
but that's something we need to think through. Thank you.
Thank you. if you migrate the existing Skype for Business meetings, does it carry over the rights that have been given? So like, if anybody has the ability to be the leader, does that carry over as well?
At this point, it does not, and in part that's because we don't yet have exactly the same structure or same granularity, but that's certainly something that over time would be considered.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. For the interop between the client and I was wondering with the client and Microsoft Teams, can you clarify what client for Skype for Business you need? Is it the O365 or is it the...
So what we typically do is we start with putting those features in the click to run, and propagates. We would expect that it does the same here. I'm not sure how far back we would backport. For example, whether this would be backported to older versions of the client, I'm not determined yet.
Okay, and no updates for the server side?
No updates required for the server, no.
Great, thanks.
One small caveat. It's possible that in order to provide similar capabilities for Mac, we may need an update for the server. That would be a CU, not a rev up. It would be a cumulative update.
UC May, yep.
Yes. When you migrate a meeting from Skype to meeting, did it preserve the meeting ID?
The meeting ID is in the specific dialing or the code?
The dialing, I think the phone number did change, but the...
Yes, the meeting ID would be different as well. It's a different system.
Okay. Thanks.
With the interface you showed, you removed the chat from Teams. Interestingly, I would prefer to keep chat in Teams because screen sharing doesn't work in Skype for Business for about 20% of our users. It just bombs out regularly and we have to restart the client, and Teams consistently works. So I'd love to have the Teams and the meeting integration, but keep chat.
So
unless you can get we tend to find it to people with multi-monitors.
Yeah. Did you attend the session that BJ and I did on was it Wednesday at 2:30? That's a session specifically focused on those type of questions and aspects. Okay. I would recommend you watch the recording on that. Okay. You can absolutely do what you're describing. It's a different user experience, and it will not be optimized. And the better together that I described may not be there, because of course at that point there's overlap between the two clients, and we don't have the ability to be as detailed in terms of which presence to show and so on, that type of thing. Okay. But it's an option you would have as well. Okay. So there is nothing wrong with trying that. It's just a different user experience altogether. Okay. And again, that session is something you probably want to refer to.
Okay. And also, you were just answering the gentleman's question about Mac OS. We have several Mac OS users, so that would be important for us to have that.
Yeah. So Mac OS is part of the scope that we're working on this. Yeah.
Thank you.
It typically is a little bit more complicated because there's more dependencies, but we absolutely intend to have the same things eventually.
On the Skype for Business side, just to be clear.
Yes.
On the Teams side, things get a lot easier because of the shared.
Absolutely. Yes.
Exactly. Boom.
Thank you. Yeah.
So first, thank you. Just thank you.
Good.
You took something that was literally impossible and made it somewhat possible. So thank you. So from a use case perspective, do you consider this meetings first as a way to introduce Teams overall? Or would you recommend that there be some amount of like Teams client and kind of, working with Teams adoption discussion before you start bringing in the meetings piece? Because we're full enterprise voice in Skype, and everybody loves that, and we have no Teams yet. And so it's like, this is huge in terms of bridging that gap, but is this step 1 or is this step like 1.5?
I don't think that, so this is a technology configuration. Right. I don't think that you get the luxury of skipping some of the other upfront work, like Caruana and some of her peers have shown this week about how, we recommend, finding a use case and, helping your users figure out how to transform the way of working. That being said, if you're gonna go horizontal for a workload, meetings is the place to start.
Right. Yeah.
I agree with this. I'll add one more comment from a technical point of view. It may take a little bit of time to ensure readiness for meetings from the point of view of network readiness and so on,
Yes.
and other aspects. And so if you were to delay introducing Teams till all of that is there, Teams meetings ready, you might actually lose out on the opportunity to do adoption on channels and others. So one of the things that, again, referring back to that session we did on Wednesday at 2:30, that we suggest is you might start with another configuration, which we call SFB with Teams Collab only. So at that point, you would not have the ability to organize your meetings in Teams yet, but you would be introducing Teams with a smaller perimeter, so it simplifies the change management and so on, and with no overlap with what's in Skype, just giving people the collaboration.
Yes.
And if you were to do this, which you can since you've not really started, that would be a first step, and then 1.5 indeed would be adding the meetings after that. Once you have network readiness, documentation, whatever it is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time, I think, for one more. Please.
Do we get one more? Yes. Good.
Okay.
Quick, I have a question. Is it an absolute mandatory to assign all users the audio conferencing license? Or can we have a subset with the license and others not?
So in order to have the PSTN dial-in conferencing and meetings organized by me, I must have that license.
Right.
But you have the choice as to which users you assign the license.
And you don't have to have audio conferencing.
Right, that's-
I mean, that's the,
Yeah, maybe I misunderstood. I thought it was an absolute
No,
requirement.
it's a requirement to have the full story, but you're absolutely right. Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
excellent.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bill. That's great
Bill,
to,
thank you so much.
great to be partner
Thank
with
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.